So, Caetano Veloso, the Brazilian artist who you have collaborated with over time. In fact, you're deeply involved with Brazilian music. What brought you into that world?
It was quite by accident. I was working, and then on some of my spare time, I would go to a record store, and I was just very curious. I would see these records, and I had no idea what they were. And so I bought a few, listened to them, and I thought, these are really good. This was in the mid-'80s. And so I went and bought more, and then I bought more, and then I bought more. And then eventually I thought, I love this stuff. What I heard was music that was really beautiful, melodic, and emotionally touching, but that also had, in other ways, was very radical and had things to say.
O analfabetismo, somador psicopneumático.
And yet I thought, in their country, these are successful pop artists. What a wonderful thing that it never turns into a formula, that they're valued for this kind of experimentation and the work that they do. So I thought, yeah, I wish things could be more like that here, but I'll take it where you can get it.
This whole movement called Tropicalia.
Yes, a lot of it came out of that and then continued later. There was a kind of, so there was a revolution, I guess, in the late 60s, early 70s. That was eventually suppressed by the military government there, but it had a long-term effect.
And Caetano, in fact, himself, of course, was and was jailed.
Yes, he was jailed. So was Gilberto Gil, quite a number of others, and similar musicians that I met later in Argentina and Chile. They were exiled or jailed. Anyway, so we became friends and have kind of either collaborated or just kept in touch now for a very long time.
Caetano Veloso, sometimes called the Bob Dylan of Brazil, has been speaking up very much about the authoritarianism in Brazil today with Bolsonaro, the new president known as the Trump of the Amazon. And he was introducing a film recently, The Edge of Democracy, by Petra Costa, talking about the jailing of Lula, the Worker Party president, and the impeachment of Dilma Rousseff. How does it feel for you to see, and it's not only in Brazil, but to see this country, Brazil, turning towards authoritarianism?
It's really sad.
But also the massive movements that are
resisting.
resisting.
I've seen this film, The Edge of Democracy, and it explains a little bit how it happened, kind of step by step. There's a lot of machinations about how trapping Lula and kind of moving pieces around so that these people could take control of the government. Yes, it's really sad. It was a country I love. I love what they, how they live and what they stand for. And this seems like a real tragedy. Well, you can't help but look at it as being something that is a symptom, and that things like this are happening all over the world. This kind of rise of authoritarians, which is frightening, but in some cases, you wonder what drove people to kind of, in some cases, it was forced upon them. In other cases, there was a kind of desire for a strong man, and you wonder, how does that happen?
Do you see parallels here?
Oh yeah, I see parallels here, and in the Philippines and other places. One of the things I've been thinking lately is that sometimes the context that people find themselves in this case, in our case, it might be the context of job stagnation, that they don't see a future for their children, or something along these lines, or they no longer trust the government, combined with the kind of rise of the internet and social things, where there's no fixed truth anymore. Everything is up, every story is up for grabs, and anybody can be saying anything. And I thought all those factors have a huge effect on people. And it's not that, I think it's more the situation like that drives people into a kind of desperate search for something, as opposed to it being something innate in people.